Greetings, travelers.
Greetings, travelers.
Oh, I like that spooky. That was fun.
Well, we're about to talk about one of my favorite games ever, so I'm
Yeah.
excited. The Eerie Travels team is going to be at the Fallout Festival in West Virginia,
Yeah,
right?
the Wasteland Jamboree, which has been a big thing in Vegas. They've been doing it, well, outside of Vegas, at where the Pioneer Saloon is. But they are doing this year. They're doing two. They're still doing that one, but they're doing their first one at Sutton, out near Braxton. So the home of the Fallout of Flatwoods Monster, and
Or
where the
Braxy, depending
yeah,
on who you
Braxy,
talk
whichever you
to.
wanna call him. Yeah, the big green monster, but they're all right there, and the town is going crazy for it. They're excited. It's, they're hoping this will be the new Mothman Festival for them, right? The
Yeah,
Flatwoods Monster
and
Museum is organized, our friends at the Bigfoot Museum there, West Virginia Bigfoot Museum are gonna be part of it. We're gonna be part of it. So, we'll
yes,
have a special giveaway for travelers, new and old.
want to
So
reveal what it is?
I think we can. We've got here, I'll just let you guess. What does that sound like? If you're a Fallout fan, you might know.
I know what it is, but,
I know what it is. We got
for
special
those that
eerie.
are not watching the videos, which have been going up, by the way, if you've not been checking out YouTube channels, Mark has been putting his little mini-sodes, but I have also been uploading 2 or 3 of our, video versions of our previous episodes every week, so you can see the look on my face when Mark says most of this stuff, so don't forget to check us out there.
Yep, consider those retro episodes, so they're a lot of
Yeah,
fun. So, but,
but what are we giving away, Mark?
we are giving away bottle caps, special Eerie Travels edition bottle caps. Some are the logo, multiple colors, and then some special ones are, for if you make a nice purchase with us, we are going to give away some that has Carrie's amazing artwork of a collection of cryptids. So, like the cryptid cards in Fallout 76 that you can collect the cryptid art, Mothman and Flatwoods, and a couple others. So, I think you'll love them. Carrie did a hell of a job on them. So,
Well,
yeah,
Carrie's amazing, and, so for those that don't we talk about Fallout 76 a lot, so I feel like we've brought most of our travelers into the fold, but for those of you that don't know, in this particular game, the basic premise, we're gonna just briefly go through this again. If you listen to our previous episodes, you knew it, but basically, the world has had a nuclear event. And so all the humans were put down in these underground bunkers that all had different numbers on them. And so this was you're one of the last people because bunker number 76 opened, but you maybe got trashed at the party right before it opened. So you woke up after much drinking, everybody's left, and you're gonna have to head out on your own. Now, when this game was originally created, it was very interesting because you didn't run into any other humans, right?
yeah,
But
it was,
they've since made many modifications because people did not like that, and now there are humans. But the currency in this game is bottle caps from the Nuka-Cola Company, is what it's called, and so when you're finding things, you don't find well, you can find paper money, but it doesn't do anything. It's bottle caps. So, there's a couple companies who've come out with versions of this soda. I think it's the uh,
Jones Soda made them. Yeah.
Jones Soda
They've
came
also
out with
made, yeah, the different flavors, and they also made the Sunset Sarsaparilla, which was the new Vegas soda. So,
yeah, so they made versions of the soda that's described in the games. So, you find your favorite Cracker Barrel everywhere who once a week gets a few of these, so you can get them and try them. They're so much fun. And then, but you collect bottle caps. So what Mark is basically saying is that we are giving our travelers, if there is a fallout and you do end up in a bunker, you can save them for your relatives from wherever we're allowed out, and you will have monetary value because I have no doubt, even more so than the Nuka-Cola bottle caps, Carrie's bottle caps are going to be worth quite a bit. That is the thought
Yeah.
process.
Yeah, we're hoping like 1 to 500, is
Yeah.
the value, so one of those equals
So
500. It's kinda like the blue star on the, bottoms of the, Sunset Sarsaparilla caps, yeah.
yes. So, and the fun thing about this game is that you can collect cryptid cards, and even with the first versions of this game, this game takes place in basically West Virginia. For
Mostly, a little bit of Ohio, a little bit of Pennsylvania, and you can fly to Atlantic City, New Jersey, which are all
yes,
Appalachia, despite what Joe Bob Briggs says that New Jersey isn't Appalachia. It is, Joe Bob. It is. Get
yes.
over it.
It
So
is in our book, The Dark Heart of the Appalachias, which we're hoping will be up for pre-order soon. We are in the middle of editing right now, which, of course, me and Mark always think is going to take way less time than it does,
uh,
but we're working on it. We will have updates the moment it goes up. I promise Mark will be feverishly putting out little videos about it. But we thought it would be fun since we're going to the festival. It's all about this that we talk a little bit about the creatures and cryptids that are in Fallout 76.
and their
So,
real world inspiration. So,
yes, so Mark,
because
where do you want to start?
well, this is all part of our next book, which is actually a running gag in the book is that, we keep stumbling on these Fallout monsters. And then we all just so you know, we're also for all of our Patreon members, if you are a certain level, we're giving you a bonus bottle cap. So, and if you're higher
Oh,
level, you may get rarer bottle caps. So that's just something going on for this year, and we're going to offer that to new subscribers as well as kind of an incentive. And as while supplies last, these are limited edition, gang. Um,
very
so
cool.
get that out of the way. So anyway, let's start with the big one that everybody knows. If you play 76, when you come out, and now Fallout 76 is the earliest game in the Fallout series historically, so, this would take place about 100 years before the movie or the TV show, and about 75 years before Fallout 4
Mhm.
and a little bit before Fallout 3, even before Fallout 2 and 1. This one is the earliest. So it's right, 75 years after the bombs. So there are people still on the surface, like you said, that are trying to rebuild civilization as it is. And of course, there is a Mothman cult that is dedicated to resurrecting Mothman. They worship him. Their headquarters is the Mothman Museum in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, which we have all been to for various Mothman fests. I did not see I'm in Love with Mothman trilogy on the shelves there though. And I didn't
They
see
might add it. They
yeah.
might add it.
Well, there are a lot of burnt books in the store. I was sad that I think Eerie, Appalachia, was in there and probably
I think
burnt.
it did succumb,
Yeah,
yes.
but maybe Dark Heart of Appalachia will wind up magically being in there. But there are in the game, there are a couple different versions of Mothman. Sometimes you just see him with these glowing red eyes, kinda watching from the cliffs, and then he just kinda disappears. And then other times he is a hostile, like, stalking version of, the Mothman, and that's super rare. There's a couple missions where that happens, but then the most common is the passive wise Mothman. He shows up in a lot of events and some of the random encounters where you get to interact with him. And if you do that, you get a special Mothman emote, which is the thing that your character can do, pretend like they're worshiping Mothman. And then there are stuff for your camps. Now, this is one of the things in the game where you can build your own house, your own camp. And that's one of the big things in the game is decorating your camp and making it yours. And one of the things you can get is a Mothman tome that you can study and be blessed by the Mothman at your leisure since he's so hard to find. The book gives you all the sacred knowledge of the Mothman cultists. And then there's also, I got a Mothman bug zapper, which is just adorable. So
Well, and, Mothman, where the statue is located,
Yeah.
is in a radiation zone.
It's a little tricky, yes, higher and you're right on the river, so it is and the Silver Bridge is there. Well, it's
Mhm.
been collapsed, and they've got, planks across it so you can still cross over into Ohio there. That is one of the places that the ghoul from, the TV show might appear. Uh, he's got a couple locations that he's always at, one right outside the vault now, but he lives over in Ohio, they call it Burning Sands. But, yeah, the Silver Bridge disaster right there, and, yeah, the Silver Bridge disaster in reality, no, December
Was due
16th.
to infrastructure failure.
Yes. Mothman was warning us about it, he was the wise Mothman. And it collapsed and killed 46 people. It's terrifying story, very sad story. We've discussed it on the podcast. We're discussing it in the new book. So we're not going to go into too much detail on that. But the original sighting of Mothman is not as well known as everybody knows the famous sighting. The initial sighting was November 12th, 1966, and that's in a cemetery near Clendenin, West Virginia, not Point Pleasant, a short distance away. But they saw a quote brown human being flying overhead. Looked like he was in a winged suit, and he flew overhead. These guys while they were digging a grave. Now we got to talk to one of those guys who was one of the original witnesses. He was the one in the grave, so he saw the least of it, but he did see the shadow fly overhead. So, that was the best we got from him. But the most famous encounter 3 days later, November 15th, that was when the 2 couples saw the creature in the TNT area, and that's Roger and Linda Scarberry. We got to talk to Roger a couple times now.
Yeah.
Amazing guy. And then Steve and Mary Mallett were the other couple, and they were out in the TNT area, which is where it used to be a TNT factory for World War II. They made munitions, and they stored them in these igloos that were camouflaged. So if anybody happened to fly overhead and try to bomb, West Virginia, there was no way they would see them. And even today, we went out there. If you didn't know to look for them, 'em, you'd walk
You
right
wouldn't
past.
know where they were or what they were.
Yeah, especially since they finally painted, so many people have, spray painted and graffitied the doors. You can kinda see those, but when it's overgrown, good luck. Uh,
And
but,
it's mostly overgrown, so when you go visit there, it's and there's a lot of swamp. It's very eerie. I have to say it's a very creepy, eerie place.
yeah, it's the McClintock Wildlife Preserve now, and, if you go to the Mothman Museum up there, say hi to the guys, Jeff Wamsley, who runs the museum, say hi to him, and, they'll give you a map out to the TNT area, so you can actually find the igloos. Most people go to Point Pleasant, never even get to the igloos. Uh,
And they do, during the, Mothman, festival, which is in September if you wanna go, it's huge. They have tours that go and show you all of that, so
yeah, pretty cool stuff. I believe for Fallout Weekend, they are gonna be, open a little late, but double check that. And the statue's there, so it's definitely a cool place to drop by. It's about an hour and a half from where the Flatwoods
and
event's gonna.
we always talk about it, but people leave beans and other things at the Mothman statue, which is something that happens in Fallout 76. It's how you pay homage, is bringing certain food, so it's interesting. Please don't do that. They have plenty of it. The food shelters are overbrimming with that. If you want to bring stuff, you can, but another big thing is putting coins in Mothman's butt because his butt crack will hold coins unless you're Paige, who will knock them out
Yeah,
ceremoniously on accident.
and, now the plus side to that is they do use that money that's collected for the, homeless up there, so
Mhm.
pretty nice for the shelter. Alright, well, we mentioned him, so let's move on to Flatwoods. So, the Flatwoods
Him or
monster is.
her, there's still a debate on the gender of Flatwoods.
Yeah, we will not misgender. So it right now, it is a floating alien-like creature, with this glass domed head and long arms. And in the game, it's capable of mind controlling other enemies. and it zaps the frack out of you and teleports. I stumbled on that when I was way too low level, and I was like, "Hey, it's the Flatwoods monster," and he ate me. So, it was pretty bad. So,
Yes, I agree. I mean, Flatwoods, it's terrifying. The thing about this game is that it's not like a cute, "Oh, look at this cute way they did this monster." It's more there's more running and screaming.
and there is no scaling. And there is limited scaling, like when you're fighting the low, your general monsters, they'll level up with you. But these monsters, these cryptids are all level 50s and they will eat you no matter what level you are. So people are 400 and 500th level are still having to, they have to think their strategy through before they take on any of these cryptids. So
That's why you need a group, Mark. I've
that's
told
why
you
you need a
that's
group.
why you
Yep.
need a group.
Yep. Uh, and this is the
So
first multiplayer Fallout. So
yeah.
uh, I,
So Flatwoods is a
yep.
interesting one to encounter, very nightmarish. And guess what else you can get very easily from Flatwoods? Radiation poisoning,
Yes.
which actually happened to people when they
Yes.
encountered the original Flatwoods monster.
Yeah, because the Braxton County Monster or the Phantom of Flatwoods or Braxy, he is a central to a famous UFO sighting from the 1950s, September 12th, 1952 in Flatwoods. He had a distinctive space-shaped head, and it became, it's iconic in paranormal lore, right?
Yeah,
You see that one all the time. Um, and the group, beautician Kathleen May, and 17-year-old National Guardsman Eugene Lemon, and there was Freddie May, Eddie May, and Tommy Heyer. Several boys went up with her and the dog. They saw a strange thing fly overhead, thought it was a meteor, thought it crashed nearby. They went up towards the farm, heard this hissing sound, saw the glow, and then the thing came out. They hit it with the flashlight, had those yellow or red eyes, depending on which witness saw it. Had the big that domed head, had like a curtain shaped bottom, so it looked like pleated dome,
metal bird. Yeah,
very similar to the Daleks in Doctor Who. And it was the steam was coming off of it, and the steam was burning their eyes, and it was noxious odor. Um, they couldn't
smelled
go
like
any further.
sulfur.
Hmm?
Smelled like sulfur.
Smelled like sulfur. They couldn't go any further, so they ran to get the authorities. By the time the authorities got up there was some strange oil on the ground. There was some crushed grass, burning smell again, and strange tractor tracks over on land near it, like something had been dragged away. And the military show up shortly thereafter, and they say, "Oh, we just happened to be over the hill looking at a plane crash that was
Yeah. Just
yeah,
happened to be
undocumented."
really close to when this happened in this very rural area.
Yep, they just happened to be there. And anyway, all the witnesses got terrible burns on their eyes, developed symptoms of radiation sickness. This case was investigated by Hynek and the Project Blue Book team, and they said it was a barn owl that they saw in a tree.
That is not accurate, and one of the worst representations of quote unquote weather balloon phenomenon. So, but we have been there. We have some fun pictures for the book from going there together. And it is, yeah, it's rural. If you go there, it's rural. And there's a restaurant, which is actually the closest you can get to it, called
The
the
spot, yeah, the spot, so good. They do a giant UFO calzone that's pretty
Mhm.
epic. They do great ice cream. They do good hot dogs there, and they
Yes.
sell Flatwoods Monster Lantern. They sell that at the Flatwoods Monster Museum, but they also sell it at the Spot, which is a lantern, made of plaster of Paris type stuff, and, it looks like the Flatwoods Monster. You put a candle in it, it lights up the glowing yellow eyes. Pretty darn cool.
It's
Um,
very, very cool, and there's different versions of this lamp, so
yeah,
they get retired, so get one while you can, and There's some amazing, have you seen me pictures, which I love, which is, my
Yeah,
thing. So
and the
I've
chairs are
enjoyed.
there. They have chairs that are the supposed size of the creatures. Those chairs are 8 to 10 feet tall, and you can get your pictures with them, sit in them, and each one is at a different location relating to the Flatwoods Monster incident. So, pretty cool,
Yeah.
different artists' interpretations on them. Very, very neat thing.
Woods Museum, go get a map again. They give
Yep,
a map for those, and, there will be a picture in the book of me, at least me, if not the me and Mark picture at there, and I'm 6 feet tall, so it will give you an idea of how big this creature actually was.
yep,
Terrifying.
terrifying. Okay, let's do the other famous one,
Okay.
and that is the Grafton Monster.
Gonna lie, I'm still so surprised that the Grafton Monster is as famous as it is, considering one person saw it one time. It's not that I'm discounting his thing, but, like, if you look at Mothman has multiple witnesses multiple times. You look at Flatwoods, we're not gonna go down the whole thing, listen to our episode on it, but multiple witnesses multiple times.
Mm,
And then Grafton is just once. But it's big and it's terrifying, and you get to celebrate something when you're doing it in Fallout 76, which is Grafton Day.
Grafton Day, yes. Now, he's also sometimes seen in the Charleston River for
Yeah,
sunlight, the old Canal River in Charleston. In the game, he is headless and he kinda oozes a little bit like tar or something,
yeah,
walks on knuckles like a gorilla. Just a strange headless horror was what he was called for a little while in the real world. He was sighted June 16th, 1964. It was around 11 p.m., and it's right off of Route 119, near the Tiger Valley River where Eric and I stayed on the Tiger Lake, which was beautiful,
and
and a
fun.
wonderful, yeah, a lot of great place, and it was seen by Robert Cockrell, who was a reporter for the Grafton Sentinel. He saw it, drove around a corner, saw this what he thought was like a giant boulder, and then it moved, and he said the skin was grayish like a wet seal, had that same kinda texture and feel, and, then it, was moving. He bailed out of there, got his courage back, brought a couple friends to see if they could find it. They just found a bunch of trodden grass and heard this strange whistling.
It's a white thing that was
It's
wet.
I
Anyway,
think it's a wet white thing. Yeah, exactly, that's my thought. For those
but
that don't know
that's
what
not what it looks like in Fallout 76 at all. And it's not nearly as small as he described it in a way, because even though he described it as huge, this thing is the size of a building in
yeah,
Fallout 76.
96, yeah. There's a smaller one that shows up occasionally in some events as like a random bonus enemy, but the big one in, Grafton Day is huge, and you do need a team to take that one out.
And you do have to do it from the top of buildings. You cannot be on the surface with it,
Mm,
on the streets.
yep,
But there's a lot
there
of
you are.
announcements for Grafton Day, and you celebrate Grafton Day, and it calls out this creature that comes lumbering down. And when we went to the Grafton fest, we saw somebody in the Grafton monster from Fallout 76 costume. We got a picture of that. That was super fun. So
Bethesda actually gave them that, which is pretty cool. So, that
yeah.
was
And
that was
it's
yeah,
and so
made by a game company.
if you join the Eerie Travels crew, I am quite sure you are going to see many, many cosplays from there, including our friend the Grafton Monster.
Yeah, if you show up for Wasteland Jamboree, that you're gonna see, and that is, tickets are sold out online. There may be some available at the event, but check ahead because they are capping it. So, and it's
Okay.
getting close. All right, gang. Well, we've got more monsters to talk about. We're gonna do that after the break.
Destiny Beard, the lyrical soprano who will haunt your dreams. With her alluring melodies and intricate harmonies, this dark siren of wistful song shall capture your soul and lead you into the night. Check out Destiny's new single, The Haunting Is Over, with international musicians Sam Haines and Gary Bennett, as well as her other musical works at destinybeard.com.
Yeah.
Oh, Bo, we need you back, my darling.
Well, we need
Okay.
you to push the buttons. We need you to push the
Yes. We shouldn't be trusted to push buttons. So where do you wanna go now that we've covered all of the very, very famous ones?
Well, I think the next one we've gotta talk about in the game is also one of the ones we just talked about white things. So we gotta talk about sheep squatch, which is yeah. Now he in the game, he is this large white, woolly beast with ram-like horns, and the event you find him in is free range, which is a very rare event. But there is a storyline where this guy is investigating him that you'll stumble on if you're doing the main quests a lot. You'll listen to his logs, and it's very funny because it's like my house. It's maps
Yes.
of sightings and lines linking Mothman and Cryptid, and Indrid Cold and all this other stuff, all up to the sheep squatch. Now,
Who's the sheep squatch, Mark?
okay, so he's a white thing, also known as the white thing. He is basically a large, furry white creature. Can either walk on all fours or stand upright. And again, it's got that sulfurous smell.
Mhm.
And now it had a large number of sightings in the mid 1990s. The earliest report we could find for the book was 1994. And this involved a car full of women that were driving through an area after a family reunion, and then they saw it. Now, there is another sighting about the same time, all the way up in the TNT area, up by
Oh,
Mothman, where they saw it too. But that was after the first sighting had been reported, so I think that might have just been somebody trying to cash in on it.
I was
It
gonna
didn't
say.
that one I don't think has enough meat on its bones. It was 2 people,
But
and yeah,
why do they call it sheep squatch, though?
because it's got these weird horns on it that,
Okay.
out in the game, they're kinda ram-like. In reality, they've been described a couple of different ways. It was ram-like or as pointy, uh, some is just little short stubs, but it's always got, like, the boar tusks coming up, and it can move. The farmers have found their fences just, like, crushed with livestock, destroyed, with
Of
weird
course.
footprints. Now, the big thing, the weird footprints, what I think is interesting is many sightings describe the footprints raccoon-like. So it's got, like, paws and not hooves, which some of the more popular stuff has done. The Mountain Monsters went after it. The Mountain Monsters guys who were with us at
Oh.
Cryptid Monster Festival, they did a whole episode on sheep squatch where they were trying to catch it. So,
Well, that sounds like I kind of almost wonder in that particular case, is that a cryptid or is it like some mutated boar, something crossbreed? Because that gets into a whole, I'm not going down that rabbit hole right now, but it just makes me wonder on things like that. Is that just a mutated version of an animal that got seen?
and that's one of those things we discuss. We've got the Russian blue hogs up here in the Smoky Mountains that one farmer brought. He lost his farm, so he just let them go, and they've been breeding and are huge out there up along the Cherrahola Skyway. So they're deep in the woods. They don't want to mess with people, but hunters have seen them. So
You encounter sheep squatch in the
oh
game.
yeah, sheep squatch in the game. Recommend sniper rifle. Take him from a distance, because if you get too close, he will charge over you and knock you dead. It's
That
just,
just sounds delightful.
yeah. I'm big on the sniper rifle in that game, period. I think it's great. The mini guns are great. If you've got a good set of power armor, you're pretty solid, but, I'm a squishy, I don't like the armor, I like to sit at the distance and snipe people, so hide and snipe. That's my
I
goal.
I love that you just said, "I like to sit at a distance and snipe people."
Yep, and things.
Yes.
Yeah, those the blood eagles, the bad people. I'm not a griefer. All right,
Oh my gosh. Okay.
all right. So Blue Devil. Now this is
Yeah.
in Webster County, West Virginia, but in the game, he's found safe and sound is the mission. Once in a blue moon, and he's kind of tricky because he can spawn randomly. Um, and I found him in a pit stop, the Middle Mountain pit stop one time for some reason. In the game, he's a giant four-eyed blue wolf that howls
Okay.
and shakes you. Um, Now, the Webster County Blue Devil was from the 1939, 1940. They called it the Blue Devil Scare. It's in a bunch of
Okay.
newspapers. And it was a bluish dog-like creature that was seen all over and killing livestock and all that. The four-eyed thing was actually a creature described later, but for Fallout, they went with the four eyes. But the most famous witness for that was a coal miner named Elmer Coley, who supposedly killed the animal and assured the residents the creature was safe. He got the $1,000 reward that was put out for that. It's like $6,000 our money. So,
Wow.
yeah, pretty crazy. And yeah, he did well for that. And the creature was never seen again after he did that. So maybe he got it.
You'd
Uh,
think he'd have to turn in that creature for that to happen.
well, he was going to, but he said when he went back for the body, it had mysteriously vanished.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah. Yep. I'm gonna
Yeah.
do that. My next FBI most wanted say, "Hey, I caught the guy. Somehow he just vanished." But I'll take the reward money though. Thank you. All right. The next one is one of our favorites from the new book, and he's it's Agua or Agua, depending on how you've heard it pronounced. The Mongahalia River Monster,
OEUA.
OGUA, and in the game he is a massive snapping turtle, and he shoots radioactive water from its back, and found often in the Cranberry Bog area. And he came in one of the later once a blue moon update, and now he is hunted by the Mothman in the game, which is interesting. And
Yes.
yeah, he's you can find a version of him as a boss in Beasts of Burden of some glade. I don't remember. Game guys are gonna strike us so hard on this because
Oh,
I
you're good.
barely played the game. I barely played the game, but I have fun with it. Um, and I remember I found him near the Becker farm. He was near a bunch of cars at some point, just some wrecked, destroyed cars. And again, he's a random villain in some things. Now the real one is the Mongahalia River Monster or Agua or Agua. I keep wanting to say Agua Agua. What a wonderful phrase. Yeah. Uh,
Wrong movie.
I know,
Wrong
but
movie.
he's also called the Holt Monster because Holt is the county up there. It's one of West Virginia's oldest legends. So he has been now the sightings of him is he is a large turtle-like creature with two heads and long necks and then a tail like a tree trunk. So picture a snapping turtle, but with a Galapagos turtle type head, which is terrifying
Wow.
enough because snapping turtles are scary AF. They are. I do not
They
want to
are
mess.
because they hurt. If they get you, they can hurt.
That's why our friend of the show, Turtle Man, catches them to remove them and move them to other areas. Although he does eat some too, which we do not recommend because they're snapping turtles. They live in the mud. They don't bother you unless you step on them or step too close. But the legend for Agua takes place 1745, and a 12-year-old boy was pulled underwater by the creature, and he barely got away. He was injured. And then a more popular sighting was probably 1983, so many years later. And this another coal miner John Edward White, he was night fishing and he saw the 2 heads come up and grab his bait and his fish. And, it might just be a fishing story, but he was terrified. He had to go to a place of relaxation for a bit, uh, shall we say,
AKA
uh,
he was institutionalized because of this encounter.
just for a bit, just for a bit. Um,
Wow.
yeah. So, yeah, it's been seen lots. I think
Great.
of all of our monsters, I think that's the one because we don't really know how big snapping turtles can get. We have a good idea because the ones we found, but they live a long time. And, yeah.
Yeah, and
uh,
I mean, if you just think of a tortoise,
Yep.
depending on yes,
Yep.
terrifying. No, thank you.
Terrifying,
No.
terrifying. Okay. Up next is one of our other favorites, the Snallygaster. Uh, we love Snally, or was the German Schnellergeist, quick spirit. And this is in the game, it is multi-limbed, it spits acid, it's disgusting, it looks kinda like a giant salamander, and, they come in groups. There's one mission, I love it to death, where you are trying to help people get moonshine, or make moonshine, and you have to collect Snallygaster livers, gulper livers to put in it. Gulpers are like giant lizards there, and, you put that in the vat, and it boils it and makes a special moonshine. So you'll find
Yes.
lots of Snallygasters in that. They are completely different from regular Snallygaster. Our
I like that you said regular snallygasters as if that's a regular thing.
Oh,
Mark,
yes.
what does a regular snallygaster look like?
He is like a half bird, half reptile, kind of a chimera, from Maryland and Pennsylvania folklore, although he does come all the way over towards the panhandle of West Virginia. And again, German immigrants talked about him, brought him over. They describe it as a blood-sucking creature that has tentacles that come out of his mouth, so it's kinda like a pteranodon with tentacles out of its mouth, drinks blood supposedly. Early sightings go back to the 1730s, but the first newspaper encounter was February 12th, 1909, and that was in the Valley Register in Middletown, Maryland, and they describe it. Sadly, they kinda think this might have been, a thing to scare slaves because
Oh, God,
they
I
talk
hate
about it.
that.
Yeah, they talk about it feasting on dark-skinned, folk,
Ugh.
yeah. So this may have just been a propaganda monster, in those 1880s, but the newspaper articles didn't come out till 1909, which was long after that would have been a common thing. So,
Yeah, and Carrie has the most amazing drawing of a snallygaster, and it's
yeah.
terrifying if that's actually what it looked like.
Yep. The famous story about it is Napoleon's nephew, who was living in, the United States, supposedly shot it with a cannon and it bounced off. And so the Smithsonian offered a $100,000 reward. So then Teddy Roosevelt was supposed to be going on a, diplomatic mission to, Africa, and he said, "Nope, I'm gonna postpone that because 'cause I'm gonna go kill that snallygaster. If he couldn't do it, I can." So, fun stuff.
Interesting choice, yes.
Why we love Teddy. Why we love Teddy. Alright, so up next, since we're kinda up in that area, we gotta go Jersey Devil. Is a winged goat-like creature in the game with a terrifying scream, and he's only if you go to the Atlantic City expeditions, which is a expansion area. Pretty crazy fun. Oh my gosh. In the game, he's actually a pretty awesome monster to fight. But in America, he's one of our most famous cryptids.
Because
Um,
he's still seen.
yeah, the cursed 13th child of Mother Leeds. She said, "Look, I'm tired of kids, so let the devil have this one." So he came out as a bat-winged, goat-headed, horse-headed with horns and hooves, and he yeeted out the chimney as soon as he was born, and, uh, just attacking people for centuries. Yeah, it's in real history, It's a story. It's a folklore story. We don't know the truth of it, but he is a bipedal hoofed creature with bat wings and horns.
Yes, and he is seen pretty frequently now, whether he's really seen or not seen, but there's a lot of, lore around that particular cryptid.
Yep, Pine Barrens of New Jersey, but he does go deep into Appalachian mountains in some stories. The big thing on him, again, is the state of New Jersey made him their official devil, which no other state has an official devil. So, if nothing else, we've got that. And the head of the Senate who passed it said, I don't believe in the boogeyman, but I do believe in the Jersey Devil. So,
You know, that that's probably a nice thing that's going on politically. So,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So, the next creature is the Beast of Beckley.
The
Um,
Beast of Beckley?
yeah. Now he is encountered in, I believe it's something called Death and Taxidermy. And you're following a taxidermist's logs and stuff like that. And he is this four-eyed dog, again, werewolf looking thing that attacks you. And yeah, pretty scary creature. I lucked out and got to cheap shot him by hiding in a shed where I could shoot out the window and he couldn't get to me. Uh, again, sniper rifle came in real handy. That's usually how I take out death claws too in the game. So,
Smart, that's a smart choice.
yeah, yeah. Like I said, not a power armor guy. I'm a squishy. But the real Beast of Beckley was this entity seen in the forest around Beckley. Everything from a large bear to a very small, swift wolf. Um, uh, yeah, most sightings go back to about 1934. Um, and it was just dark, fast, quick, lots of livestock dead, lots of other things dead in the area, children chased, humans chased, horses spooked, but not really a very big description of it. It's actually kind of unusual in the cryptid world until 2019. A witness known as Raven posted to basically a creepypasta like website with
'Kay.
sketches and other things that he had seen, and it had four yellow eyes and was a giant shadow creature. Now, again,
So, after the Fallout 76 game came out.
yeah, but before the expansion with the Beast of Beckley came out. So,
Interesting.
yeah.
Uh, uh, 'Kay.
Yep. Yep. Agreed. That's one. I love the character. I love the creature. We do a little bit more research on it in the book. So we'll teach you more about that there.
Okay.
All right. Pre-orders available soon. Okay. Up next, we've got one of our favorites, Erica, the Smiling Man, Indrid Cold. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. We were good friends with Tanya Derenberger, who sadly has passed away. She was the daughter of Woody Derenberger or Woodrow Derenberger, who claimed this man telepathically identified himself as Indrid Cold after this strange spacecraft landed in front of his truck and made him talk to him, and supposedly had many encounters with him after. Tanya said she had encounters with him even after that. In the game, he's a random encounter, just shows up and he's wearing like out of date clothes and he starts talking in riddles to you. He says, I come in peace. And he's not an enemy in the game. You can shoot at him, but he just teleports away. Yeah, and the reality is definitely he's part of the UFO lore. The Grinning Man name is because he was always smiling. For some reason in modern pop culture, they make him look like the Joker. They give him this crazy giant grin, but Tanya and Woody never say that. They never say he's got this insane grin. He's just got a grin. He's a normal looking guy. He just supposedly has a green suit or a sparkling suit. Again,
Who
it's
knows? I
it,
mean, the Indrid Cold thing is really interesting. We did a deep dive in an episode about that, and have no doubt you'll be talking about it more in the book, but that is a really interesting story,
yep.
and it's it wasn't done for fame or whatever, you know? As
No,
a matter of fact, he tried to not talk about it.
for a long time, and then they just kept forcing him to, so he finally came out and started talking about it, and then he did his book, and then everybody laughed at him, and so he went back into obscurity. So,
Yeah,
sad.
very
Now, that
sad.
was all November 2nd, 1966, just outside Parkersburg, West Virginia on Interstate 77. So, we drove that road. We went
Yes,
looking.
we did.
So, okay. Now, the next one, we were just talking about this before the show because it's was a surprise in the book, and that is the Wendigo.
So, oh, I just ugh, there is so much lore around the Wendigo.
Yeah, he needs his own episode. We'll be doing that, but also there's a whole chapter on him in the book. People are like, "What? Wendigo in the Appalachians?" There's a story about the snow walker, and that's not the Wendigo. That's someone who encounters a Wendigo. But we'll save that one for the book, and after the book comes out, we'll probably do an episode. But in the game, it's an emaciated, cannibalistic giant found in the woods. But there's a couple missions where you follow the story. You can find this like pit, this
Mhm.
sinkhole, and if you go down, you're reading the diaries of the guys who were trapped in the sinkhole. And one guy's got a broken leg, so he can't climb out, and people keep falling in. And then one of the persons kills the other person, starts eating it. So the broken leg guy starts eating it. But by the end, there's a twist. Oh my God. I don't want to spoil it. But
Don't spoil it, but the lore around it has to do with cannibalism. It's very interesting.
yeah, the Algonquin native tribe were the ones that call it that. The Inuit tribes also call it that. And it's their spirit of hunger and cold and the taboo of cannibalism. Um, Definitely malevolent spirit can possess humans. Um, and again, this goes back to 1636 with a Jesuit missionary was among them, and he learned about it. In now what's Quebec, and that's Paul Lejeune. He wrote about it in his diaries about these people talking about this creature. So, man,
Well, you know, I also have to just I'm gonna pull it back to this, is Supernatural in season 1. What I think it's like episode 3 or something is about a Wendigo, and I thought they just did such a fantastic job kind of I'm not gonna reveal it because it's a great episode, but it encountering a Wendigo is scary as crap.
yeah, they had a really good folklorist on Supernatural. It was the same guy who did the folklore on Grimm. So, I'll
And
try to get him
and
on the
you know,
show.
I
Yeah, he
enjoy
like
both
him.
those shows.
Yeah, I'll try to get him on the show. He's a good guy. Um, and then, okay, so then we've got, of course, Bigfoot in the latest update. He has shown up. Now, most of these others in Fallout are just mutated things that they've given the names of the classic monsters. But except for Mothman is Mothman, and Bigfoot is Bigfoot, but now he is irradiated. Um, and if you in the loading screens, he's called the Yahoo or the Yahoo, and but that's because the Yahoo was what Gulliver's Travels called the
Called
giant hairy men, and that is what um, Daniel Boone, when he was traveling through the area, he had Gulliver's Travels with him, and when he encountered this strange hairy creature, Daniel Boone wrote about it. He encountered a strange hairy creature, and he shot it, and he called it a Yahoo, and
Yep,
didn't say what he did with it, but he said it was about 8 foot tall, weighed about 12,000 pounds, was no bar, no bear,
1,200 pounds.
1,200 pounds. So,
You said
and
12,000, I'm just
oh, 1,200 pounds. Sorry.
yeah,
Yeah.
1,200 just so travelers Daniel Boone did not say it weighed 12,000 pounds.
No, 1,200 pounds. Sorry, my apologies. And
That's
it's,
okay.
supposedly the name comes from its cry, like a Yahoo, but I think it's more of a Bigfoot cry.
Yeah.
Um, in the game, he shows up randomly in some battles, and after you've killed a boss, he'll show up as like a bonus boss, and he will kick your ass with his club if you're anywhere near him.
I was gonna say, after some of those battles, I don't need a bonus boss battle. I just need the boss battle. It was bad
Yep,
enough.
yep. Now, the Bigfoot yahoos, they go back to the mid 1800s where lumberjacks were reporting them. Um, Probably one of the most famous incidents, Charles Stover, 1960, Webster County, made it big. Um, there's some questions about Bigfoot now, thanks to the Patterson Gimlin film issue, and some other things. But what's funny, the Patterson Gimlin sighting that they were trying to make the documentary about, um, was based on a sighting that was reported in a newspaper that had asked for Bigfoot sightings as a contest. And that was,
Interesting.
yeah, like 30 years before uh the Patterson Gimlin. So so it's kind of the whole thing is a little questionable. So I did a little deep dive on that on one of my day episodes. So um tune in for that. I think you'll love it. If you just look it up, it's on all of our socials. Now we got two monsters that are not real monsters, but are still cryptids in the game.
Okay.
One is the angler. Have you fought one of those?
Yes.
Yeah, they have
Yes.
this little, like, lure that looks like a glowing light on its forehead, so it looks like one of the materials you need for crafting, and if you get there, it jumps out. It's an anglerfish. It's a mutated anglerfish. Again, not based on any West Virginia folklore or Appalachian folklore, but it's a lot of fun to fight. And then my favorite in the game, Mega Sloth. Uh,
Which well, see, Mega Sloth is very much based on the, sloths from the dinosaur period that I'm not
yeah,
actually familiar with
yeah.
because and didn't somebody recently say they saw a giant sloth?
Well, it's the official state fossil of West Virginia is, Jefferson's ground sloth, which I think is Megalonyx jeffersoni is the science name, whatever. It's named after the guy who found it, and so he ties it in to that. There was a legend of a giant sloth seen by early settlers. John Stewart supposedly said he saw one, but I can't find any documentation on that anywhere. Nobody can. It's just a herbal legend.
Well, they kinda
Um,
went extinct, so
yep,
but we
and
know they were real because we found a ton of their skeletal remains
yeah, not a ton, but we found some. Yeah,
into the La Brea tar pits, and I have
yep,
seen them.
yep,
So
yep. So they're in the game. They are giant. They are shaggy sloths. They're found hanging in trees. I think cranberry bog area as well, and they're fun. They're fun to encounter. There's also a mission where you're trying to tame cryptids, and you'll meet all the cryptids, and you got to keep them alive as people try to come and kill them. These ghouls try to come and kill them. You got to keep them alive. Um, and then the last one is the death claw. So they're a beast. They're not really a cryptid. They're just nasty, 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 and will hurt you bad, 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 bad. So
yes, and I think what Mark is gonna be forced to do for this episode is throw some links so you guys can go take a look at what they have made these creatures look like.
yep, yep, because it's pretty cool. And then,
It is
when you
very
pick up Dark Heart of Appalachia, you can compare them to the illustrations based on the witness accounts done by Carrie Schultz. So,
yay!
yeah. So,
Awesome.
but what'd you think, Erica? Was that I mean, we've been doing this for the new book, so we'd already hit all of these. Uh,
Yeah, and I there it's interesting 'cause, there are some that I didn't know about. I haven't played Fallout 76 in a little bit, so there's some expansions now I need to jump back into so I can encounter some of these creatures in
yep.
in the game. I need to see what they look like.
Yeah, I started around Halloween, but I didn't play it much because we were working on the new book. And now that we're in edit stage, I'm at a point where I get to sit for a day while everybody else is doing their part. And so I jump back in since we're going to be at the festival, the Wasteland Jamboree. I'm like, oh my gosh, I better play. And the show had just ended season 2. So yeah, I was fun. That was too much fun. So yeah, it's in literally what, 4 weeks from when this
Mhm.
airs. So May the 1st through the 3rd, they're doing a little warm-up thing on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and that's in Sutton, West Virginia. If you look it up, Wasteland Jamboree, I'll put the links in the notes, so you can also see if you wanna try to get there. It's a lot of fun, and, they're doing an event at Trans-Allegheny, which in the game is Fort
Ooh.
Defiance which is about, 45 minutes north of that. Probably the best place to get a hotel for the event because Sutton, the hotel was booked months ago. Just like Mothman, if you haven't already booked your tickets for Mothman and hotel for Mothman, you can get your tickets, but it doesn't have tickets, but, forget a hotel unless you're planning to stay
Oh,
30
no, you can
away.
just find a hotel there, go 45 minutes away. That's what we like to do.
Yeah, we stayed in Charleston, which isn't far
Yep.
in at the time, and Charleston's got a lot of Fallout references in the game too. So, it's a lot of fun. That whole game is very, very cool, and it does hit a lot of the areas we hit: Eastern Ohio, Eastern Kentucky, most of West Virginia. We hit all of West Virginia in the book, and, uh, and
You
a
can
little
be
bit.
a virtual cryptid hunter.
Yep, yep, and we had all the ghosts and other legends and dark history
Mhm.
for you. Big time. So, as always, thank you, Patreon folks, for keeping us afloat. And I hope you enjoy your bonuses for this coming up for your Wasteland trip bonus. Yeah. And if you haven't joined yet, there's still time. Get in there. Patreon, our link is in the notes of this episode, everywhere on our social. And yeah, join us a few bucks. We appreciate it. And you get some swag. So,
Yes,
you know,
and it's very cool swag.
yeah, and then on our socials, like I said, I'm doing daily content this year as best I can, which so far I've only missed 1 day, and that was because we lost our wonderful, uh the wonder lizard Claudius, passed away, so, appreciate all the social media outpouring for that. He was well loved and he is well remembered. So,
Yes.
I think that's it. Erica, you got anything for us before I take us out?
No, I'm excited to see The Travelers this year. I'm excited for this new book. We're shooting for 2 new books this year, but we're doing our best, so let us get to our part of the Appalachias, and, we're excited to hear what you guys think. I know a lot enjoyed the, dark side of the Smoky Mountains, so now you get to journey with us to even darker, more haunted places, and yes, Mark has tricked me into going to more places, which you'd think I'd learn by now, but I haven't. So with that, Mark, take us away, my friend.
All right. So when you're out in the wasteland, gang, and you're out looking for caps, just make sure you pack your stim packs and mod your gun and get that super scope for that sniper rifle. Find yourself a nice perch. And if you're lucky, snipe through a window at the Jersey Devil or the Blue Devil or the Snallygaster. You can probably take a Wendigo close range. They're not as bad in the game. But if Bigfoot comes, find a good hiding spot because he's going to womp your ass with his whoop ass stick. And we'll see you on the other side.